Everybody, I'm Gwen Campbell-Mindes. Welcome to Gwen's Bookish Ramblings, and today we have one of those books that's a collection of stuff. There are various books out there that are like this, where this isn't a book that you sit down and you read a chapter at a time or you read an essay at a time. This is comparable to a book of short poems, but it's not poems. This is a list of books that are actually real, that the authors of this book found to be unusual or unusually titled or any number of other things. Um, Admittedly, some of these titles and other such things are only funny due to certain temporal issues and changes and in times. The number of titles in this book that have the gay whatever in them, if it was written before gay was being used as a shorthand for, well, gay, for homosexual, let's be honest. Before that, it just meant cheerful and happy. So, some of them really are titles that are only strange due to anachronism. However, the titles shown on this cover that you see here, these titles, Ice Cream for Small Plants, Scouts in Bondage, Fish Who Answer the Telephone, these are all real titles, real books. To give you kind of an example, further example, I took a couple of not scans because I had no access to a scanner this week because of things. Um, and there are some black and white shots in this book, and copies of various things, such as this lovely photograph, which comes out of the book Frog Raising for Pleasure and Profit. And this was apparently written in 1950. Broel, who is described as the originator of canned frogs' legs, provides an extensive collection of recipes for bullfrog. It's a very extensive list. That takes up about a page and a half in this. Well, no, about one page, but it's two half pages, really. You're not interested, are you, at all? Uh, and then there is our next picture, which is from a book by Yury Petrovich Frolov from 1937, Fish Who Answer the Telephone, which you would think might be some sort of work of fiction, but yeah, that's this one. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. So, yeah, back to Fish Who Answer the Telephone. This is a fish answering the telephone. See, I said before that I don't prep for these, and you'll notice I don't. You see, there's a fish in a tank, and it's apparently answering a telephone. I'm not sure what a fish would do once it had answered the telephone, but it would, I suppose. Also, this isn't just titles and some pictures. There are also a few snide comments along the way, as the authors make various comments. There's a lovely picture on one page which I will not show you because it would be potentially upsetting for somebody who was concerned about um, this particular line drawing of a man lying on his back with his legs spread as he irrigates his, yeah, you don't want to know what he's irrigating. Anyways, there is also a and this is divided up by topic. So you have At various points in time, you have the in sickness and in health, which is subdivided into on the psychiatrist's couch and keep fit. Keep fit includes exercise in the bath, contains photographs of a bald man apparently going berserk in a bath. Who knew? Love, marriage, and encounters, exotic and erotic. 7 Wives and 7 Prisons, or Experiences in the Life of a Matrimonial Monomaniac, a true story written by himself. I'm just reading excerpts from this because that's what this book is. It's very entertaining, but very excerpt-driven. So let's take a look at Let's Make Some Undies. Because apparently in 1954 there was the Let's Make It series, and one of the Let's Make It's was Let's Make Some Undies, the book about how to make your own underwear, which, that's a very interesting cover, because, that doesn't look like a Let's Make It cover. That looks like some sort of sad romance novel about a woman wasting away in her bedroom waiting for her lover to come to her, or any number of other things. I'm particularly enamored of You Can Make a Stradivarius Violin by Joseph Reed, who is not a professional violin maker. He is an engineer employed by the American Can Company of Canada. With experience, anyone can make 2 violins a year and still play golf and fish. And, yeah, you too can make a Stradivarius violin. I'm not necessarily sure you want to, not necessarily sure you want to go there. I've always liked The Fangs of Suet Pudding, which is, again, another title that I didn't bother to copy because it's, much more intriguing. It's a 1940s, novel, spy novel about a master Nazi spy and various other things. That's just a great title on its own, The Fangs of Suet Pudding, isn't it? Or am I crazy? Maybe I'm just a little bit maybe I'm just a little bit off. Let's see. Oh yes, From Cleopatra to Christ, arguing that the former was the latter's mother. The thing is, that's what makes this so intriguing to look at, to read, to consider, is to just see the books that people have written. If you thought the internet was weird, this is the internet before the internet. Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun, an imaginative and colorful approach to relating the leadership principles that have long served those having the will to lead. Because we've all wanted to be just like Attila the Hun. Okay, I mean, some people have, I guess, but, I'm not sure everybody has. Let's see, and of course, one of my all-time favorite entries in this, just for my own personal amusement, is this wonderfully lengthy title, Light and Truth, M's invention for destroying all foul air and fire damp in coal pits, proving also the scriptures to be right which learned men are mystifying and proving the orangutan or monkey the most unlikely thing under the sun to be the serpent that beguiled our first parents, by William Martin. This goes on to explain William Martin, 1782 to 1838, the eccentric author of numerous esoteric pamphlets, was the brother of John Martin, the painter of apocalyptic scenes, and Jonathan Martin, who set fire to York Minster in 1829. And that's the thing about this. It's not just the list, although certainly the list itself is fundamentally amusing. Chancho, a boy and his pig in Peru. Um, but it's the fact that the authors have thrown in have thrown in their 2 cents, or 2 pence, really, they are English, into this whenever they feel it necessary. The 1904 book Modern Vampirism, Its Dangers and How to Avoid Them, and they have a lovely long paragraph starting with described as a practical guide to those under threat, and then it goes on to quote the book and just to choose the right quotes to amuse, to choose uh, the right snarky things to say on any given book. It's divided up into several chapters, as I said, unintentional double entendre titles, extraordinary authors' names, authors whose names are remarkably appropriate or inappropriate to the subjects of their books. That is stuff like Machine Tool Operation by Aaron H. Axelrod and The Cypress Garden by Jane Arbor, Shy Men, Sex, and Castrating Women by Claude Bowles. It's those sorts of things. A musical interlude, which is a list of songbooks with, of course, unusual titles. We have a book on it, which is books on unusual topics. Marvels of Science, which is books supposedly on science. Dirty Books, The Wonderful World of Nature, weird books on plants and animals. Then you have publishing curiosities and assorted trivia. So, publishing curiosities are books that have been printed on striped cloth in the style of a Victorian cricket blazer. You have a fireproof edition that is bound in asbestos boards. Fish skin, which has been bound in fish skin. Human skin, which was a copy bound in the author's own skin. There is of Human Bandage, God's Revenge Against Murder, which was apparently rebound in slightly soiled bandages by its owner, a gentleman of Bristol. This peculiarities of the press is, in a lot of cases, books that it's not the book itself, it's the specific edition. Strange dedications, or if you can't say something nice, which has a couple of my favorite ones. Sahara, which has the lovely dedication to Farian Gashi, only a camel but steel, true and great of heart. And Green Memory of Days with Gun and Rod, to the best bag I ever made in Ireland, my wife. A favorite of a close friend of mine is The Desert Rose, which has the dedication of For Leslie, for the use of her goat. And the thing is, this is, like I said, this is the internet before the internet. This is the length and breadth of human weirdness. And that's what makes it so enjoyable. Fish answering the telephone, a collection of recipes for bullfrogs, let's make some undies. It's all, it's all bizarre, as the title goes, and fun and funny, and I think it's worth reading, if only to remember that human weirdness really predates the internet. The internet is just a much more conveniently reflective mode of seeing how strange people are. Hope to see you next week.